We'll come back to you later, John. Meanwhile, back to you, Emma, and your jokes. Victor Lewis Smith is up in York, but just before the programme, he too recorded a joke for you to analyse.
This was told to me by A.J. Eyre. How can you tell one end of a worm from another? And the answer is you put it in a bowl of flour and wait until it farts.
Yeah.
Did I kill that for you?
You did. Ned talked all the way through it. Tell us the other one.
This one is a conundrum. How many surrealists does it take to screw a light bulb into a socket? Answer, a banana.
Very good.
I thought it was a fish.
Victor, there is absolutely no reason why a good joke should be not appreciated more than once. I mean, that's fine telling old ones like that. The only thing I can really say to you on that, Victor, is a pun is the lowest form of humour when you don't think of it first. How's that? That's it.
Right, you're up there in York, aren't you, Victor? And
No.
fully restored, I gather, after your brief vacances from loose ends as Zit magazine cover boy 1962. Your wife Carol tells me, Victor, that you have a handsome bronze torso and a firm burnt pair of legs.
They don't belong to me. Oh, I'm there. Am I there at last? Am I in? Hello? Is that London? Oh, good. Well, I was just about to say, Ned, that's right. But they don't belong to me, the sunburnt pair of legs and rest of them. You find very strange bits of flotsam and jetsam on Canvey Island these days. You do. Actually, Neddy, this week, owing to an almost paranormal occurrence of spontaneous consumption...
No, don't lick it up. It's for the Kleenex.
I decide to convalesce abroad and sail from Harwich for the continent, while Mrs. Tribley is sent to Eastbourne for the incontinent. And I can guarantee no repetition of that tired old sub-Beano material in my rating savings masterpiece this week.
Look this way, Madonna. Lovely. Look this way. Excellent.
Frankly, I'm a modern, upfront sort of guy, and I don't mind admitting that I really went for a torrid, frankly steamy weekend in an East Berlin hotel with my pet Whippet, who I disguised as Madonna, a popular female vocalist of some note, I'm led to believe. Dressed in a tight red satin skirt and a mole applied just above its jowls, the resemblance is stunning, almost uncanny, and he attracts the German press. But through its veil, the hotel detective spots the slobbering black labials and whiskers, and we're turfed unceremoniously out of our Teutonic love nest as common but fragrant perverts.
Oh, you give it to me now. Give it to me.
We decide to visit Uncle Rudolph, who runs a luxury holiday camp in Spandau. He's a sullen old sod, so to cheer him up, the Whippet demonstrates its new wire-controlled toy plane.
That is very good, Herr Whippet. You will give me a go.
Mind that flex, Rudolph. You're a fool to yourself.
I love to have a go.
Mind the flex, Rudolph. Rudolph.
The rest is history, really. We fly economy back to Gatwick. Turn left. I said left. And the goggles smear the Whippet's mascara. I said left. Turn left, that's right. Suddenly, in midair and for no apparent reason, I decide to play a BBC digital sound effect of hysterical children in a classroom.
Welcome to Gatwick. Working class passengers on package flights to Spain and Mallorca will be held up for at least 3 days. There is no controller strike. It's just because of what you are. Lumpen proletariat, tabloid reading rabble. Thank you.
Going through customs, there are 2 signs. One says something to declare, but I pass through the other sign which says liars. I'm accosted by a burly customs official who asks me to account for the 18 million packets of Capstan Full Strength hidden in my toiletry bag. But he lets me off when I tell him I'm numerically dyslexic. But on one condition, I must entertain the beleaguered working classes a la Frank Carson. Quick as a flash, I agree to deliver my celebrated WI lecture on bitonality in the music of Ives.
Come on, you bugger, come on.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please, rabble. Now, let's listen to this typical Ivesian juxtaposition of 2 American folk tunes. Listen.
Once a lonely caterpillar sat and cried.
Members of the working class, here Ives contrasts in finely woven translucent textures, a gossamer web of eclectic quotation. Please, don't punch me in the stomach. I can't stand violence. I come to and find myself being pack-raped by a particularly uncultured and sex-starved herd of refugees from the Club 18 to 31 package tour to Marbella. In a fit of hedonistic abandon, I undergo an out-of-body experience and muse on the pitiable nature of the working classes. Let me explain in sociological terms. To quote the world-renowned sociologist Marshall McLuhan, former star of TV's top-rated Western Gunsmoke, and the anthropological structuralist Levi Strauss, who supplied his genes, the working classes can be viewed at their basest in airport waiting lounges. They are the ones with tattoos on their knuckles which bear the slogan Mam, Dad, Love and Hate, and kiddies called Clint, Wayne, Tracy and Darren, who are regularly shouted at. They wear string vests and jeans which reveal their bottoms. They cannot tell a claret from a Bordeaux. They have us dinner at 12 noon. They wear clothes from a catalogue. Their teeth look like a graveyard after an earthquake. They wear their socks in bed and have slot meters for their electricity. They eat at Bernie Inn's, and at home it's Vesta Charmaine, and they cannot tell the difference between Burl Ives and Charles Ives, which is why they beat up musicologists.
Go on, you bugger.
Back in the airport, I decide they do not want culture, but they want my impersonation of President Kennedy. It's a cracker, it's the way I tell them.
I should say now, sick bin in einer Bernie in.
Back at my luxury York apartment, after 2 weeks, the fridge has grown a beard, and my whippet gives it a thorough depilation with the lady shaver belonging to Mrs. Tripley. Apropos of the flat, we're thinking of moving from the top floor down to the second floor, but I suppose that's another story. Oh dear, there was a repetition of Beano humour after all, but as my old granny used to say,
Call me Ishmael.
but that's another story too.
Shut up.
I start lactating, the whippet suckles at my ample chests, so it's time to switch on the video machine for our weekly supply of spiritual nourishment. Mrs. Tripley lights a joss stick and takes a deep drag. The video we're about to watch is a deeply spiritual experience on the lines of Carl Jung, Krishnamurti, and Border TV's Up Your Yoni with Thora Hird. This sacred program is called Terry and June. To the uninitiated, it is merely a sublimely satirical comedy program, but in our house, you will hear no laughter. We have found a deeper metaphysical meaning in the text. As with all great spiritual masters, the writer of Terry and June, Mr. John Cain, has jettisoned all intellectual distraction from his script. What that man needs to be told is that the essence of good comedy is timing. I have come up with some apposite methods of torture for the writer, Mr. John Cain. For the first time on radio, you'll have the chance to vote for the punishment of your choice. So would you like Mr. Cain, A, to be forced to warm up the audience and arrange the stunts for Noel Edmonds' Away Day programme from Chadwell Heath in Essex, B, to write one-liners for Louise Botting on Moneybox, or C, to co-star with Claire Rayner in the new Lloyd Webber musical, Beau Powell on Ice? If you'd like the chance to have dinner and a spot of velching with me, pop your choice of torture on a postcard, A, B or C, and say in no more than 20 words why you think Terry and June is the best comedy programme on television ever. Enclose a photograph, and the winner will almost certainly be an 18-year-old pneumatic blonde with big breasts. Just address it to that hunky slice of beefcake, York. Incidentally, that fast tape wind contained the final chapter of Peter Wright's Spycatcher. If you've been recording my pieces over the last 2 months, simply play back all the tape winds at 1 1/3 nanometers a second, dub it onto cassettes, and flog in Petticoat Lane. And now back to the aging provocateur, the rebel without a corset, Neddy Baby.
Victor, are you still up there?
You've got me this time, have you? Have you? Hello? Hello, hello, hello? Can you hear me?
The same trouble is happening again, Victor. You may be able to hear us, but we can't hear a dicky bird from you. So you can't, I'm afraid, have the right to reply to Emma. You can hear him. Oh, Emma can hear him. I can't.
Oh, Emma, can you
talk
hear me?
to Emma?
Yeah.
Emma?
Yeah.
Somebody told me here at Radio York that you just did a slag off of my joke.
I did.
A woman behaves in a strange way when her dad is unemployed.
Oh, that's very
Control
funny,
your
Victor.
tongue. I saw you on Wogan a couple of weeks ago as well. Have a shave.
Victor, men joke as a kind of homosexual panic. Does that mean anything to you?
Homosexual, I think, isn't it? Isn't it homosexual?
Yeah, okay, homosexual panic.
Yeah. What was the joke?
What, mine or yours?
Mine.
I can't remember. Ned talked all the way through it.
See you in bed. Bye-bye.
Emma will tell us in the studio what that was all about afterwards, or we might listen to the repeat this evening in order to find out. Now it's time we shall, I'm sure, hear Robert Elm's joke for Emma.